News Channel 15 presents The Film Reel, the talk show where we discuss everything going on in the world of movies and television, with hosts Bryce West and Kane Jones. This is The Film Reel. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back into The Film Reel, the talk show where we discuss everything going on in the world of movies and television. I am Bryce West alongside
Kane Jones.
And we've been gone for a couple of weeks, but you know what that means. That means we have a lot to talk about, so let's get straight into things with the box office report from last week.
Coming in number 5 is Kung Fu Panda 4, starring Jack Black and Awkwafina. After Poe's tapped to become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace, he needs to find and train a new dragon warrior, while a wicked sorceress plans to resummon all the master villains whom Poe has vanquished to the spirit realm. The film brought in $7.7 million, dropping 25.9% from last weekend. Coming in number 4 is The First Omen, starring Nell Tiger Free and Ralph Ineson. A young American woman is sent to Rome to begin a life of service to the church, but while there, she encounters a darkness that causes her to question her own faith as she uncovers a terrifying conspiracy that hopes to bring about the birth of evil incarnate. The film brought in $8.3 million its opening weekend. Coming in number 3 is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, starring McKenna Grace, Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, Dan Aykroyd, Kumail Nanjiani, Patton Oswalt, James Acaster, Bill Murray, Ernie Hudson, and featuring Logan Kim as Podcast. When the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, the Ghostbusters, new and old, must join forces to protect their home and save the world from a second ice age. The film brought in $9 million, dropping 42.2% from last weekend. Coming in number 2 is Monkey Man, directed by and starring Dev Patel. An anonymous young man unleashes a campaign of vengeance against the corrupt leaders who murdered his mother. The film brought in $10.1 million its opening weekend. Coming in number 1 is Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, starring Godzilla and King Kong. Two ancient titans, Godzilla and Kong, clash in an epic battle as humans unravel their intertwined origins and connection to Skull Island's mysteries. The film brought in $31.2 million, dropping 61% from last weekend. For The Film Reel, I'm Ian Lloyd.
Alrighty, thank you to Ian Lloyd for that as always, and yeah, so Kung Fu Panda 4 coming in at not number 4, number 5, but it's been out for a few weeks at this point.
Right.
And there's quite a new movies that have come out since, so makes sense. The First Omen, a horror film, makes it into the top 5. You know, we've predicted similar films to be in the top 5, and they haven't even come close to making it. But The First Omen did. So good on them for that. It's been pretty difficult for horror films here lately. It has. So coming in at number 3, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Makes sense. There's a new movie. There was a new movie that just came out this week, and then Godzilla x Kong. I think it's just a bigger film. Makes sense for that to be in number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Monkey Man, the directorial debut of Dev Patel. He also stars in the film, action film. Nice. Looks like a lot of fun, actually. I definitely want to be checking that one out here soon. And then Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. I mean, duh. Yeah, right. It's just the big blockbuster film that's out right now. And we're gonna be talking about Godzilla x Kong later on in the show. It seems like reception is good enough to get people to keep going to see it.
It's in there.
Yeah, I definitely don't see this being like one of those films that people repeat watch too much. But it'll be interesting
for sure
to see how things go with that. And I guess moving on to our predictions now. Civil War is a film that we're going to be talking about later on the show as well. I believe, unless I'm just completely messing something up, I think that's the only major film that's opening next weekend. But I don't think it'll open at number 1. I think it'll open at number 2. I think Godzilla x Kong will probably stay there. I just don't think. It's a little too niche. To be number 1. I think
it might even be like 3 or 4.
Really?
Yeah. I don't even think it'll be 2.
I've heard pretty good things about Monkey Man. So
That's what I'm saying. I think. Because of Monkey Man, it could be in the 3rd or 4th spot.
Yeah, and then
maybe
4 or 5 will be the rest.
Right,
so like Ghostbusters, First
yeah.
Omen, maybe Kung Fu Panda. I think Kung Fu Panda might actually stay in the top 5. I think First Omen's probably going to be out next week.
Yeah, more than likely.
And then Kung Fu Panda will still
I like that.
stay in there at 5. Well, there we have it. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick break. After this, we're going to be talking about Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, as well as Civil War coming up.
Hello, I'm Sarah Harrell. I'm from Crossville, Illinois, and I attend here at Wabash for the Advanced Manufacturing Program. Being here has really helped me grow and really experience what it'll be like later in life, being able to work in a shop and actually run machines. I've loved working on the 3D printer and on the wire EDM and just CNC machines in general. I want to be like a designer and programmer type thing, so I can do most of my time on SolidWorks and programming CNC machines.
I'm Mason Gross. I am a marketing business management major at Wabash Valley College. You'll learn a lot about the business industry as a whole, and that really helps you to explore your options as far as to what's out there. So I'm doing my internship at Summer Real Estate in Salem, Illinois. Right now I'm working on getting my license. I am hanging around the office, going to showings, and doing everything I can as a non-licensee to get myself ready for when I graduate and take that step as an agent.
Welcome back into the film reel. Let's talk about Godzilla x Kong. So this is the latest addition to the MonsterVerse, which mostly consists of Godzilla and King Kong. Some other monsters have shown up a little bit through there. But this is the latest American Godzilla film. Last year we had Godzilla -1, which is one of the greatest films I've ever seen.
Right.
An Academy Award winner. And here we have Godzilla x Kong, and you know, I mean, they keep making them. Yeah. But do we need them? Like the thing that was so special about Godzilla -1. Is that you don't? It's not just a Godzilla. It was a World War II period piece that happened to have Godzilla in it. Yeah. I see what you're saying. And the human characters were so amazingly fleshed out. I mean, I mean, it's seriously. I mean, it was one of the greatest films of last year. Right. And it's by far my favorite Godzilla film of all time.
Yep. I agree. Absolutely.
But then we have stuff like this, where it's just kind of just, you know, big, action-y, comic booky kind of style storytelling. And, I mean, you know me, I like comic book movies. Yep. So that it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, whenever the last film that we got was Godzilla -1, it's impossible to not, you know,
top that,
you know,
go bigger. I mean,
like I know they're like two completely separate films, but it's almost impossible for me not to compare the two. Considering you know, we just got Godzilla -1. Not even it hasn't even been a full year ago. And then now we're getting
here we are with another
this new Godzilla crossover. But then also we got Monarch, the Apple TV Plus series. We did. Which was also very well received.
It was.
And you know, this is received, you know, mixed reception. I mean, it's not like people are going like, oh, this thing is horrible, but it's just kind of a mid Godzilla and Kong movie.
I mean, you're gonna have people that come out just cause, but you're gonna have the people that like it's another Godzilla and Kong movie that you know, so it's mixed, like you said. So I mean, I don't know.
It's tough to follow the ridiculously high bar that was set by Godzilla -1. I mean,
hard to beat it.
If you're into monster movies, I still think go ahead and check it out. It seems like a fun time. If you're into those Godzilla movies, I think you're still going to enjoy it.
Absolutely.
But I do wish that they would at least try to do something a little more of sustenance with these MonsterVerse films. I think in general, the general reception of the MonsterVerse has just been it's just kind of it exists.
Yeah.
You know, but then we did get Monarch.
We did.
That is set in the same universe, and it was incredible. It was a really cool story about a father and a son.
Absolutely, it really was.
Or no, it wasn't about father and son. It was played by father and son, but it was the same guy.
I know what you mean,
but in 2 different time periods, and they were played by Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell, father and son, but they were playing the same character. Throughout time. And I thought that was a really interesting way to tell that story. And I wish they would try, at least in the films, to do something a little bit more creative like that. That's all I'm asking.
Right.
But if you're just looking for, you know, just a fun, mindless monster movie, Godzilla X Kong is for you. Moving on. Civil War. This is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I've been hearing mixed things on this one too. So this one comes out this weekend, and basically the synopsis reads: a journey across a dystopian future America, following a team of military embedded journalists as they race against time to reach DC before rebel factions descend upon the White House. So I mean, it's basically just like, okay, what if Civil War II happened?
Right.
And so I'm interested. I don't know. I don't know if it'll be good or bad, but Nick Offerman is in it. He plays the President of the United States.
Okay.
Kirsten Dunst is in it.
Okay, Kirsten.
They've got, you know, a cast that has at least intrigued me.
Yeah. I get down with that.
And the trailer intrigued me too. Although I watched WrestleMania the other night, and they showed a trailer for Civil War, and it was awful.
Right. I mean,
but then the first trailer they released looked like actually like kind of an interesting story. So I got, I'm a little bit interested, and then this movie looks like absolute trash. So so I don't know what to expect out of this one. Kane, what are your thoughts?
I like anything sci-fi, futuristic, dystopian. That's right up my alley. That being said, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's been so many films in that genre. I mean, you know, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
I think
the cast looks amazing.
What's interesting about this is like it is a dystopian, but it's not like future, like 100, 200, 300 years in the future. It's not like sci-fi per se. It is a much more grounded take on what could actually happen if we went to another Civil War.
Yeah.
So I think that within itself is going to be interesting. I don't know how the delivery is going to be.
Right.
But I guess we will have to wait and see on that. With that being said, we're going to take another quick break, and after this, CinemaCon just happened this past week, and we're going to be talking about some of the different reveals and things that were showed off there. Coming up.
News Channel 15 on Roku TV. With a Roku-compatible device, News Channel 15 is within your reach. Simply access your Roku TV menu and scroll until you find an Add Channel selection. In the search bar, type Cablecast Screenweave and a green icon should appear. Select this app and choose to add channel to your device's main menu. Once Screenweave has downloaded, open the app and scroll through channels to find News Channel 15. News Channel 15, available on Roku and Apple TV.
Welcome back into the film reel. CinemaCon just happened this last week, and there have been a lot of different reveals and things showed off there. We're just going to go ahead and get straight into it. We're going to start with some of the Disney stuff.
Yes.
Inside Out 2, the first 35 minutes of the film was shown there.
That's crazy.
That shows some confidence there. I think Disney and Pixar are pretty confident that they have a banger here. I mean, for them to show the first 35 minutes
of
the
crazy.
film,
That's crazy.
Like a 90-minute to a 2-hour film. That's like a third or a fourth of the film.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
the first one was incredible, though.
Yeah, I love the first Inside Out.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I mean, I think they might have something here.
I'm really interested to see it too.
Yeah.
They're introducing new emotions because Riley, the main character from the last film, is now a teenager, which introduced new emotions, which I think is a really cool idea. Deadpool and Wolverine showed their first 9 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a Marvel film, so
they're
not trying to spoil the film.
Right.
But again, that shows incredible confidence with Disney and Marvel for this film. I am so excited for Deadpool and Wolverine.
All I needed to hear was Wolverine in the title, and I'm in. You know, so I'm stoked for that. Absolutely,
I cannot wait to see what's going on in that film. But yeah, the first 9 minutes for Marvel to show the first 9 minutes of anything is like unheard of. Like I've never heard of them doing it. So once again, showing incredible confidence in their film. Moana 2, The Rock came out and talked about it for a bit. It's a Disney Plus series turned into a film, so I'm not really expecting.
The music was good. Lin-Manuel.
Too much. Yes, the music was good in the first film.
You know.
But again, it was a TV series that they turned into a film. Or they repurposed into a film.
That was kind of
So I'm not sure what to expect from that. But we shall see. And then lastly, with the Disney stuff, I wanted to talk about. They showed off some images from Captain America: Brave New World, the 4th Captain America film, the first film to feature Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Captain America. That's another one where I don't really know what to expect from this. Harrison Ford is also taking over the role of Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who was previously played by William Hurt, who sadly passed away. So very interesting casting there. We get to see him with Captain America.
I know. It's like, no more Chris Evans, right? But at the same time, I feel like it does have potential.
Yeah, I love Anthony Mackie.
Absolutely.
Anthony Mackie is absolutely hilarious.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was a smash. Loved it. Absolutely.
So my reserve isn't because of Anthony Mackie and Sam Wilson. It's just like this movie, just behind the scenes, has been reworked so many different ways to where I'm a little worried that it just might be an incohesive mess.
They're trying to make it work. But it may not work as well.
At least not as the first 3. I have no idea how they're going to live up to those first 3.
I mean, Civil War, films. Come on now.
So I feel like you almost got to be going into this film thinking that, this is a completely separate thing. Don't look at this as Captain America 4. Look at this as like Captain America 1. This.
I do think, all this being said, I do think it'll be better than Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, come on now.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, this film has gone through so many different rewrites, reshoots, which is of course normal in film. But this film has had a lot more than others. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Now Paramount actually showed up. With actually a ton of really cool stuff. So they announced that they're working on a Star Trek prequel film. This is set during the Kelvin timeline series with the films that starred Chris Pine as Captain Kirk.
Absolutely.
So it will be a prequel to those films.
Love that trilogy.
We'll see if that actually comes out. I mean, they've announced Star Trek 4 10 different times. So I don't know. I mean, I would be interested to see a prequel. And they did say that they are still working on a 4th film in that series. So we'll see. I don't know. Star Trek has been doing fairly decent here lately. So, I mean, this wasn't like whenever these films were coming out and there was no Star Trek series. There are like 4 or 5 Star Trek series going on right now. So Star Trek is thriving again. So we'll see. I hope they get made. I did enjoy those films, and I do love Star Trek. So we'll see. This one is crazy. So Paramount is currently in development of a R-rated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film.
What?
Based off of the Last Ronin storyline from the comic books.
Wow. That is wild.
If you don't know the Last Ronin storyline, sorry, because I can't really spoil it without spoiling everything. I really, if you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, read that comic book.
Absolutely.
It is crazy.
It is.
And an R rating does fit that storyline, believe it or not.
And you said live action?
I'm not sure if it's live action, actually.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but
live action would be crazy.
Live action would, if it is live action, I'm on board.
Yeah,
like I would be on board animation too.
Yeah, but live though.
But live action would be crazy.
That would be absolutely nuts, I think.
But yeah, if you're familiar with that storyline, you know what's up, and I hope that that continues to get made. That sounds like an awesome idea. Some other ones, Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover movies happening.
Okay.
They teased that at the end of the last film. I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, the Transformers movies are fine. The G.I. Joe movies are fine, so.
But I don't know if we need a crossover film. Like, I mean,
I'm at least interested.
I don't think we need any more Transformers movies, really, to be honest. But I mean,
Hey, as long as y'all keep buying the toys.
Yeah, right.
But that is definitely an interesting one. And then another Transformers movie that is coming out this year.
Oh, and speaking of
Transformers 1, there was a first look showed at CinemaCon. It's a prequel film set on Cybertron before the fall of Cybertron, and I believe it's going to be showing a lot of the war, the civil war between the Decepticons and the Autobots. I think that's actually interesting. This is an animated film.
Okay, I can get behind a prequel.
Yeah, although Chris Hemsworth is playing Optimus Prime, so
I know his voice is deep. I can get behind it, baby.
That's definitely a choice.
But
interesting. I've actually heard the good things about that first look that they showed.
It might be good.
So that's going to be an interesting one.
Joker
2 trailer came out. Joker Filet Adieu. I think it's pronounced.
Yep.
I believe that's translated as a dance of two.
Okay.
But this film features the introduction of Harley Quinn, played by Lady Gaga.
Yes.
This film is going to be a musical, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
I agree.
I cannot believe. I mean, of course, the film isn't out yet, but based on the trailer, I cannot believe that they're actually pulling this off. I mean, it looks absolutely splendid. The cinematography in this trailer is absolutely spectacular.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm
excited for it.
I loved the first one. I think it's one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. Joaquin Phoenix is probably my favorite Joker.
Yep.
I originally
he's
was
not
like,
my favorite, but he was still pretty good. Heath Ledger all the way.
Yeah.
Anyway,
to each their own. But I never really wanted a sequel. Like when the ending of that first film was just like, okay, leave it and never touch it.
Right.
It was such a great ending.
I agree.
I love the ambiguity of it. But since this is so different from that first film, it's like completely different.
Could have potential.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I am really, really, really excited for that film to come out by the end of the year. It's the only DC film coming out this year.
Yes.
So, and I think it's going to be a good one for sure. Lastly, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is in development. Surprise.
Right.
The first film was a huge success. So financial success.
Right.
Not at all surprised that they're making a second one. I'm not super excited.
Me neither.
I watched the first film. It was okay.
Right.
But definitely not surprised that they're making a Five Nights at Freddy's sequel. With that being said, we're going to take one last quick break. And after this, before we talked about Civil War, which is a sort of future take on what could happen in our history. But Kane, coming up next, you're going to be talking about some of your favorite historical dramas that have taken place in the past.
Yep.
Coming up.
Hi, my name is Rylan Robb. I am from Albion, Illinois, and I am a radio TV major here at Wabash Valley College. From broadcasting all sorts of sports games to producing my own TV show and radio show, the hands-on experience is as much as you want to do with it. In terms of the program itself, I think it's really special. It's really like almost a little family in a way, and it's really been really nice being able to experience the things I have with people that genuinely appreciate it with me.
News Channel 15, winner of the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System Award for the nation's best community college TV station.
Welcome back to the Film Reel. I'm Kane Jones, and right now it is time for Kane Speaks. Right. So we're just going to jump into this. We were talking about Civil War that's coming out.
Yep.
And going along with that, we are going to break down a top 10 list of historical dramas.
Okay. Let's get into it.
Yes. So in the number 10 slot, I actually had a fairly old film, actually a really old film, Spartacus.
Okay.
Really phenomenal film.
Really old film.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's a great film. I had Spartacus in the 10 slot. Now, moving into a newer film, a space movie, Apollo 13.
Okay.
Phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. Great movie. Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is a good pick. I would have never thought of that.
That's a good one. It's a good one.
That's
Really
a really
phenomenal
good
film.
Yeah.
That was in the 9th slot. In the 8th slot, a really phenomenal film as well, 12 Years a Slave. Just the storyline of this film is incredible.
Yeah.
Steve McQueen, I mean...
it won Best Picture, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah. It did. It was great. The next film I had was Gladiator. Gladiator. Phenomenal film. Phenomenal film. Are you not entertained? I mean, come on, come on.
It is a fun film.
Yeah. Next film I had was Lincoln.
Lincoln. Okay.
Biopic. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Not Vampire Slayer.
Right.
But just Lincoln.
Yes.
Okay.
About the president. Yes. Yes. Daniel Day-Lewis, he killed it. Lincoln.
Right.
Yeah. One of the best biopics of a president I think I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Next, another biopic on another historical figure that came out last year, Napoleon.
Yeah, that's one I need to check out.
Yes, Joaquin Phoenix.
Speaking of Joaquin Phoenix.
Really good.
Yeah, I believe that's on Apple TV Plus, so I do need to check that one out.
Yes.
That's one big 2023 film I'm missing.
And all the battle scenes in it, phenomenal.
Cool.
Phenomenal. Next film, a fairly old film from the 90s, Titanic. Titanic.
That's another one because I like whenever we were talking about Civil War, I was thinking mostly just like war films, but I would have never thought of something like Apollo 13 or Titanic. Obviously, Titanic is a highly fictionalized version of those events, but I mean Titanic is a fantastic film.
Right, absolutely. In the 4th, another biopic. There's a lot of biopics on here, but this one came out last year. Oppenheimer, of course, had to put
Best
it on
Picture.
there. Yes, Best Picture. Phenomenal film.
It is.
Cillian Murphy.
It's 3 hours long. It's a biopic / war drama kind of.
Absolutely.
Not a film that I watch very often.
Right.
Not a type of film I watch very often.
Yeah, biopics.
I was incredibly intrigued. Didn't feel like it was 3 hours ever.
Yeah.
All of the performances are extraordinary.
Spectacular.
Great film. Great
Absolutely.
Pick.
Now, the top 3 films that I had, starting with the 3rd film. This one to me is a little underrated. It's a war movie. Francis Ford Coppola, starring Martin Sheen. Apocalypse Now.
I haven't seen that one. I've heard. It's based off a book, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And to me, it's a little underrated. It's on lists of greatest films ever made, but I never see it that high. But the storyline, everything about it, every performance in it was great. Everything about it's incredible. Apocalypse Now in the 3rd slot.
Cool.
And the final 2, sticking along the lines with war movies, historical dramas, of course, that we've been talking about. The second film I had, 1917.
I need to watch 1917 so bad. Like it has been on my list since it came out. I own it on DVD.
Right.
I still haven't watched it. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Awesome.
Like I've wanted to see that film for so long.
It's awesome. To me, the best part about it is it's about World War I, not World War II. And I feel like there's not a lot of war movies or films based on the First World War.
Yeah, no, I mean, mostly World War II,
right.
for sure. Yeah.
And Sam Mendes directed it, who also directed Skyfall. And then Roger Deakins invented the one shot.
Yeah.
It's known for the one shot, and he won for best cinematography.
Right.
It's never been done, the one shot.
I mean, the cinematography in that movie is insane.
If you don't know about the one shot, look it up.
Yeah, 1917 one-shot scene. Yeah, it's incredible.
And finally, of course, Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Best World War II movie about World War II, in my opinion, ever made. Tom Hanks.
For sure.
Matt Damon. Brought him home. Yeah. And that's it. That's my top 10 list.
Well, That was a pretty epic list, Kane. Thank you for that. And thank you all for watching this episode of The Film Reel. We're glad to be back, and we'll be back next week for even more. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care.